Hey, it's ODB from OLP, and this is a look at August 2000, which was issue 11 of Street Trucks magazine. They had been around as basically marked the year at that point. You basically had, for the first year, 99, you had August, October, December, so this would have marked 1 year, technically issue 11 though, since the first year was bi-monthly. This truck is really etched in truck history because it was the first mini truck on the cover of Street Trucks magazine. Again, I would remind you guys, if you get a chance, hit up our website, ourlifestylepodcast.com, buy some merch, including these OG style stickers for mini trucking. But this truck, my buddy Russ and I, back in the day, we went to Indy Truck Bash ITB, also known as ITB. They later changed their name. Courtney wrote about that in Street Trucks on why they did. And we went in 01, 02. We saw this truck. I saw this truck black, and I can't remember if I saw it in the other version. I will take a minute and I'll flash, a little bit later, I'll try to flash up the feature from 03. So this thing comes back again, and it gets featured again. It gets totally redone. But let's jump into it. Now, again, with this flip through, I'm not going to go through every single page of it. With these, I'm trying to focus more on, a specific truck, right? So we've done this a little bit with Truckin, some with Street Trucks as well. But tweaking the senses, daring to be different is like winning the image lottery, is what they say, what Brian McCormick says here. And here again, you can see dare to be different. The other unique thing was, again, you had the front 3/4 shot, a little bit different bumper on this thing, louvered hood, unibody, of course, a lot of mods. But also, if you think about how they showed the interior, this is kind of rare to do multi images like this on the cover. I mean, it's been done a couple of times, but you could see the interior is totally different. And Brian makes a little joke about not having tweed here. We'll take a look at in a second. But again, this truck is really classic in many ways. If you think about the early S-10s, they were a little bit different. They were a little bit more just basic. I had a 94, and it was like the most basic truck. Mine was basically the equivalent of, I think, of like a work truck almost, to a certain extent. It had a factory roll pan on mine, but it was whittled down, didn't even have AC when I first bought it. We could see the louvers here, a little bit different grill. You've got more of a hot rod themed wheel. The unibody just hits a little bit different, doesn't it? And then, of course, you've got the interior Colorado custom steering wheel. They've been around a long time. Now, I mentioned there a moment ago that he takes a little shot at tweed, which, jokingly, right? It's nothing bad. But he said it in. He says, I know our feature files run about 50-1 in favor of S-10s because it's hard to pass up shooting a killer truck, no matter what stable it hails from. He kind of goes on to say here, this is not your average run-of-the-mill S-10. This is why you're looking at it in Street Trucks. So kind of taking a little bit of a shot there, I think, at mini trucking. Kind of reinforcing that, hey, they're daring to be different. It says, no crazy graphics, no body drop, no airbags, and for the love of Snoop Dogg, maybe his first and maybe only time ever mentioned in the mag, no damn gray tweed interior. This truck is a sick puppy that tweaks your senses without the need of mainstream custom appliances. Dude, just a really cool truck. Again, it played in very nicely to this issue, dare to be different. So again, interior, not body dropped, not airbagged, more of a hot rod theme, showing, hey, we could take a truck at this point that was maybe only 6 years old and make it kind of nostalgic of the old days with hot rods to a certain extent. I love how they did the rear three-quarter shot, or the rear shot, I should say. You see pretty much all truck, Brian McCormick with that classic sunset kind of view there, those colors. And I did want to point out this was Tim Alvey's truck. He was from Kentucky. Maybe the lowest common denominator guys might know them. But you can see here, pretty basic. I had the same engine in my truck, and it was very reliable. Never had any issues with it. I could see the AC compressor there on his, but I think this was the same setup I had. And just a cool feature. And I say feature, really cover truck feature. You had the American racing wheels on it. And I always loved how Brian, Steve, and Courtney would they had real awesome basic layouts, man. A lot of times a front three-quarter shot, you get your interior shot there. The story always wrapped around, to a certain extent. It was easy to read with good size font, a little bit smaller font here. Now I'll take a moment and I'm going to flash up here what the truck looks like when it came back and was refeatured in Street Trucks a couple years later. Totally redone if you think about the color itself. Pretty badass. We'll get to that issue, I guess, in the future. Here you can see no gray tweed, as Brian jokingly says. Something a lot different. The zebra print on the doors in the sunroof, or the headliner. White, which is just a color that would be, tough to kind of keep clean. But I think they even went, and this is like a chrome type look around the whole bezel that goes around the dash. Those were, of course, easy to pop out. I got some billet aluminum there as well, with those little dash kits that you used to be able to purchase. You get the wood bed floor. You can see here the unibody and a little bit different bumper. I forget what bumper this thing was, but pretty cool. And then we can see the ST right here indicating, boom, it's done. But again, the other thing I liked that they did too was in the magazine in the early days, they would have the advertising split, which, I don't remember seeing a lot of this, but it was kind of unique because, some people might want to skip the ads. But in here, if you're reading this feature, you couldn't help but notice California Custom USA down here, of course, with their cat eye grills as well. I think those things would sell really well these days. Of course, these would, in my opinion, the damn the full billet grills. I think there might be one company making them, but it doesn't seem to be as abundant as they used to be. So yeah, what do you guys think? This one I think really may not be remembered as much. I know these Street Trucks early issues aren't as collectible as, say, Mini Truckin', or even, dare I say, Tailgate, I think is some that, people start to collect a little bit. But Brian McCormick did the damn thing, and this truck is pretty awesome, in my opinion. Again, it was different in many ways. I don't know if it's still around. I'd love to know if it is, if you guys happen to know. But again, then it came back a couple years later, and it was redone in yellow, which I think looked awesome. It kind of had that Moon Eyes type vibe. What do you guys think, man? Something different? You guys like seeing stuff like this? Let me know. Shout out to Brian McCormick. We've had him on before. Really killer truck. I'll also try to, if you guys like these, leave a comment. I'll try to do more of these, highlighting the first maybe 5 or 10 trucks that were mini trucks on the cover of Street Trucks magazine. Stay on the rise, y'all. We out here. Peace.